Hello everyone, my name is Mark McCartan. Today I'm here joined with Ryan Larkin. First of all, I just want to say thanks for coming down, man.
Thank you.
So if you don't mind, I'll get started with a few questions here. So do you want to tell me about where you grew up? Like?
Obviously, I grew up in Uri, obviously County Down. I grew up originally in the Meta. Growing up in the Meta, life obviously was fun. It was packed. Obviously, a lot of sport. From the very very start. Everywhere you looked around in the Meta, there was sport. Even now today, you have the Newry Leisure Centre. You have like the Jennings Park, Jack Mackin Park. You have Whitegates Community Centre there, and even up behind us, you have Derry Big football pitch there. So everywhere you went, you're always with a football. Whether it just be out in the green kicking with your mates or actually playing matches.
So what sports did you play as a child?
Obviously, my first sport I ever played obviously was football. Obviously, growing up, I had a passion from a very very early age. I still actually remember my first ball being bought for me by my dad, and right from the start, obviously living in the Meta, obviously I started playing for Midway United, and that's where I really honed my skills there. Obviously, my passion for Gaelic developed a lot later than people would probably think. It probably was about P7. I really developed it. I got asked to play for our primary school team. We were in a final, the Canon final. We beat St. Albans by 2 points. I played pretty well actually. That game I scored 3-1. So that's probably my fond memories of it. And then obviously from there on, obviously going to the Abbey Grammar School, obviously you had to play Gaelic, so that's where it really probably started. And then obviously people probably don't know, obviously I'm actually a big swimmer. I did all my lessons and I have my level 1 lifeguard course. It was really good for football in terms of my athleticism, in terms of stamina and all, and it's really helped me as a footballer. And in terms of even recovery now, being able to go and swim in the sea, obviously as you probably know yourself as well, it's really really good for the legs and all after tough training sessions and matches.
So Don, you told me you played for Midway. Who other Gaelic and soccer teams did you play for growing up?
Obviously in terms of soccer, I started off at Midway. Obviously it's my local club. That's where I really started to love soccer playing there, in terms of just the people I met there. I'm still friends with those boys, to date. And the coaching that I got there, the likes of Colin McStay, Kieran McDavid, and actually my dad, starting off playing GDC football and, moving up through the ranks in the Mid-Ulster and playing 11-a-side. And then, from playing there, I went to Newry City. I think it was a pivotal move for me. I was exposed to a greater level of sport, I would say a higher level of sport, and having to adapt to that really enhanced my ability in terms of sport. And then the coaching I got down there in terms of from Chris Coffey and Paddy Lundy, who obviously Chris Coffey, played at Arsenal and Paddy Lundy playing at Nottingham Forest. And then obviously finally my last time I played for was 1 Point. Obviously it was probably a weird time when I went and played for 1 Point. It was during COVID lockdown, so there was no real games. There was a lot more training and in the odd game, but it was still an experience nonetheless, and one that I still hold today. So.
I understand that Newry and 1 Point are rivals. How did you feel with switching sides?
Probably didn't think too much about it. It was more my dad was probably a bit more cautious about the fact of going from Newry to the Point. But obviously, you see even in today's game, the likes of Barry Gray managing the Point and going to Newry now, there's maybe a bit of still love there. Maybe there's no really love lost between the two.
So who got you into football in the start?
It was maybe not an actual individual, probably a group. Obviously, I'd probably just say my family in general. Growing up, family life, it was all about sport. In terms of my two granddads playing sport. My granddad Joe Larkin going across the water to play for Chelsea, and even when he came home he played for Dundalk. My dad playing Gaelic and soccer, and he played in the 1991 Middle Cup. It's actually famously the United team of Neville and all the boys. They won it that year, the Middle Cup. And then my two uncles, Adrian and Connor, playing Irish League football, and more notably Connor, he won 2 Northern Ireland caps for Northern Ireland under 19s. And I'd probably say my mum as well, in terms of driving me all around the country, going to watch me. Their family's a big part of my sport and life, even this year. So in terms of our McCrory campaign. My mum, dad, my sister were at every single game. And actually my mum has a Ulster medal as well that she still holds over me. And she has more medals than me. So
what Gaelic and soccer teams do you support and why?
in terms of soccer, I'm a big Man United supporter. Mm-hmm. I think that was drilled into me from a young age by my granddad John. He had all of us in United jerseys from no age. We nearly didn't get a choice about it. I still remember getting the chance to go and watch United for the first time in Old Trafford. My mum told me I had 2 tickets, and I said that I'd take him instead of her, and she wasn't too happy about it. And then in terms of Gaelic, it's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, I'm from Down. I play for a Down team, so obviously I have to be a Down supporter. And obviously my mum wouldn't let me be any other supporter. She's a bit of a Down fanatic, travelling up and down the country to watch them.
So I understand that you're involved with the under-14 girls basketball team there last season. So how did you get involved?
It came about, actually fell quite well together. My sister, Niamh Larkin, she was in her last year playing under 14. And my mum, I knew that my mum was going in to coach them. So the basketball chairman, Joe Ryan, approached me and asked would I go in and help out and coach and mentor them. And obviously it was a chance I jumped at. Obviously I have a big passion for coaching. I've always talked about it, wanting to go into it. So when the chance came, obviously I didn't think twice about it.
So I understand you won the treble that year. How did you feel under your management?
That whole campaign was just, nearly undescribable, really. Just from start to finish, from the first training session till that final whistle went in the championship final. It was more of a sense of relief, really, for the girls. They're a great bunch of girls, and they really did deserve it. The hard work and dedication they showed throughout that year was phenomenal, and they couldn't ask any more of it. Going from winning the spring league into the summer league, and then obviously winning that championship. For me personally as well, it was, a real big achievement. And in terms of being able to do it with my family as well, even though it did end up getting football being banned from talking about the dinner table. But it was definitely worth it. They were a great bunch of girls, and it was a great experience, and the talent they have was phenomenal. So I think if they just stick at it, they'll go a long way.
More about the basketball. I understand you're called up at the age of 16 to the senior squad. How did this impact you? Did it boost your confidence or?
Yeah, being called up quite young, I was more so looking forward to it, really. Actually, the year before I started playing, I was approached by the senior manager, Mark Mc Cartan, to do the stats on the games. So it gave me a real insight to, how senior football life was like and what training was like and the tactics and the style you're trying to implement. So really when the time came to actually play, I was just raring to go. I wanted to play. Mm-hmm. And I feel that obviously my 6-year campaign as a McCrory player helped me with my confidence and all. I was just ready to go. And then obviously in my minor year, I really honed in on taking free kicks. I took free kicks for the minors. So when I went to seniors, I was a designated free taker, which obviously when you score a point early in the game with an easy free, it really does boost confidence. And to know that I was such a important factor in the team was, my confidence was very, very high.
You're also part of I see you're part of the Abbey McCrory squad there. This is also dream for any footballer goes to grammar school. What were your highlights and lowlights of this competition?
Yeah, playing, for McCrory was a phenomenal experience. One that, you'll never forget. Like, it's one of those ones. It teaches you a lot more, maybe not even about football, but a lot about life lessons. Having to juggle, playing football, your school life, your work life, family commitments, having to do all that, and it really does stick with you. In terms of the highlights, I still remember the groups being drawn for it and being told that, the Abbey weren't going to get out of the group and, you were going to be grouped and all. We had a tough group. We had St. Pat's Armagh, St. Pat's Mahara and McCartan's Monaghan. But, we proved a lot of people wrong, beating Armagh. Obviously, the first night down in Park Esler under lights, unfortunately coming up short against Mahara, but then scoring a last-minute goal to get a draw against Monaghan. We proved a lot of people wrong. And then, obviously, my main highlight probably would be the St. Ronan's Lurgan game in the playoff. I scored our first point of the game to make it a draw, and it was, surreal to see after the game, after the buzz of winning, looking online and reading the Irish news and seeing a write up about yourself and your performance in the game. I'll have that forever,
Yeah.
And we beat them by a point that night. Obviously, last kick of the game converted a free, and then obviously one of the lowlights obviously was the next game, the quarter final, coming up short against a very strong Donegal side. They scored 2-3 goals first 10-15 minutes. There's nothing really we could do about it, but it doesn't take away from the experience that I had playing. Obviously it would have been nice to break the so-called Abbey curse since 2006 of not winning the quarter final, but all in all, you have to take away what I gained from it, and it's made me probably a better person as well as a better footballer as well. So definitely anyone who has the chance to go and play it, definitely I would say go and play.
And what advice would you give to any young boys and girls coming up for playing football?
The advice I'd probably give would probably be enjoyment, really. Obviously when you're young, you're taught, it's all about, taking part, it's all about the fun, it's not about the winning. And when you're young, you do say, actually, no, it is about the winning. But when you get older, them nights where you don't want to go training, you don't want to play, enjoyment has to be the main reason why you're doing it. Especially in the likes of Gaelic football, obviously, you're not tied there, you're not under any contract, you're doing it for yourself, for pure enjoyment. And especially now in young football, there's a lot of pressure on young ones nowadays to play football. But I feel like we have to put greater emphasis on the enjoyment factor of it. And then another advice is probably about surrounding yourself with the right people. The friends and, the people you meet through football, the people that when you look outside and it's wet and it's rainy, they make you want to go training because they're going training,
yeah.
Can make you a better athlete as well.
So can you see yourself playing or managing football in the future? If so, what and how and when?
In terms of playing, obviously, I'm only this is my second year starting now playing senior football. Obviously, we got promoted there last year. We're in the Div 3 this year, and the aim is just to keep on improving, and seeing how far we can go. Teams have started off at the bottom and went to the top. I don't see why we should be the exception. It's just going to take time and hard work, but it can be done. In terms of personally, obviously, an aim I would love to achieve would be playing for my county. I feel that my experiences with McCrory and playing senior football, there's no reason why I can't. And with a bit more experience and hard work, there's no reason why I can't be achieved. And also, personal thing is, obviously, I'm hopefully going to university next year, and the prospect of playing Sigerson football, college football, would be something that I would really, really want to do. So, and then in terms of managing, like I said before, the experiences that I've gained from managing has made me want to do it again. There's definitely no reason why I wouldn't. I'd be looking at, to do my coaching certificates in both soccer and Gaelic. Just any chance I get to coach, I take big inspiration in terms of, in my soccer inspiration, coaching would be like Jose Mourinho. Just prove you don't have to be a big professional soccer player to be a good coach. He's proved that. And in terms of my Gaelic coaching, one of my favourites would be Jim McGuinness from Donegal. I've read his book and all, and even this year coaching, I've looked at his tactics and his play style and how to develop players. So they would be two big inspirations of mine and make me want to do even more coaching.
And lastly, who is your inspiration in the sporting industry and why?
I've been asked this question a lot, and it's hard to really pinpoint one person because I think there is so many. But the one that stands out for me is probably my dad. My dad, he makes me want to be a better footballer, and improve myself, and be the best that I can, whether it be in sporting life or in just in general life. And even now and even in the past, he's not just a parent, on the sideline watching. He's been my coach in terms of when I was playing soccer years ago at Midway. He was my coach, and even still to this date, coaching me at senior Gaelic football, being part of the ball school management team. So obviously, it mightn't be always positive stuff, but even I call it constructive criticism, maybe. But and it makes me want to be a better footballer and to improve.
That's all the questions I have for you. Thanks for coming down to me, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.